The Black American, the most influential, envied, and copied people on the planet. American Blackness is a clothing line that preserves and commemorates Black American culture. Please visit AmericanBlackness.store, not .com, .store. Wear your lineage loudly and proudly. Use discount code TARIQ at checkout to receive a 10% discount. AmericanBlackness.store.
Check out a brand new book out right now called I'm Sorry This Apology Took So Long by author Tariq Nasheed. Now, this book is a personal chronicle of poetry written about this brother's journey towards finding love in his life, accepting himself, and embarking on his path towards forgiveness and renewal. And as you know, poetry is a way to speak from the heart, so this is a great book if you are a fan of poetry. Check out the book I'm Sorry This Apology Took So Long, available right now on Amazon and Kindle. Family, check out the brand new audiobook novel entitled Then the Earth Swallowed Them Whole, The Secret of Circular 3591. Now, this thriller novel is about a story that takes place in the 1940s deep in the sundown towns of Florida, where this mysterious document leak caused a bunch of chaos. You want to know what happened? Check out the audiobook. Go to Amazon.com and check it out right now, and be sure to follow the author, E.J. Wade, at official E.J. Wade on Instagram. Then the Earth Swallowed Them Whole, available right now on Amazon.
From the culture of the American South, where roots hold stories, comes a natural deodorant inspired by generations of wisdom. Introducing Rootwork, the all-natural foundational Black American-based deodorant infused with the magic of High John the Conqueror root. Our unique blend, enriched with this legendary root, offers 24-hour protection, rooted in the power of nature. Embrace this deodorant that celebrates culture, history, and your well-being. Unlock the magic of Rootwork today. Experience the pure essence of nature. Visit rootworkstyle.com and make the switch to a healthier cultural choice.
Boom, there it is. What's going on, guys? I am here. Thank everybody for tuning in. What is going on to the family? How is everybody living? Glad to have y'all tuning in. Let me just get all my air and heating situation together here. Y'all good, man? I hope you guys had a good week so far. I hope you're having a good week so far. Hope everybody's being very productive. I got on my old school hip hop look with my Arutta Susse shirt. And speaking of Arutta Susse, we have an Arutta Susse event, holiday celebration this weekend at the Hidden History Museum in 2 days, this Saturday. And ladies and gentlemen, you can go to hiddenhistorymuseum.com and get your tickets to join us. We got some great comics. We're going to have great food. It's a private event, so you have to get your tickets on the website, hiddenhistorymuseum.com. You got to get your tickets on the website, ladies and gentlemen. What else is happening? What I need y'all to do, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to hit that subscribe button, and I need you to retweet this. Let everybody know that we're live right now. Peace family to you, Chief X. But yes, retweet this on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. And let everybody know that we're live right now. Also, guys, we have till tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day to take advantage of the Arutta Susse holiday package, ladies and gentlemen. The Arutta Susse holiday package, tomorrow is the last day. So you need to get your Arutta Susse holiday bundle package right now Ladies and gentlemen, that's at hiddenhistorymuseum.com because you're going to get the new book with that. I'm trying to get it together. I'm up here messing up here. The Arutasase bundle package, you get the Hidden Heroes from A to Z book, and you get all of these other great things, ladies and gentlemen, and that's at hiddenhistorymuseum.com. The sale ends tomorrow. So take advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, a lot of people have been ordering that lavender like crazy at rootworkstyle.com. A lot of you are going crazy with the lavender, and I am glad to say that we are back in stock with the lavender. We do have the lavender in stock. People have been buying that like crazy. Please understand, we do have other scents that are just as great. We have some new scents at Rootwork. We got the Citrus Charm, ladies and gentlemen, right here on Rootwork. We got the Citrus Charm. As you know, we got the Blueberry Citrus Charm, and boom. Got the lavender. We got the, hold on, I'm dropping stuff. The Mango Mojo. So yeah, whatever flavor, whatever scent you want, we got it at rootworkstyle.com. So yes, go ahead and get your Rootwork at rootworkstyle.com because there are a lot of musty people out here and they need that Rootwork. It is a must, pardon the pun. All right? Yes, the vanilla and all that. You guys know about the coconut butter and the vanilla ones. Yes, we got that one. Yeah. Musty sewer milk, yeah, that's the same price as most deodorants on Amazon. And this is high quality natural deodorant. Yes, indeed. This is high quality natural deodorant. Yes, it is. All right, now let's get into this thing. And yeah, we got a couple of musty people who are very upset about the deodorant. My dude name is Musty Sewer Milk. He's like, oh my God, deodorant? I can spend that money on food. Well, no, nigga. Get you a 3-piece nugget Happy Meal and get you some deodorant. Save some money for some deodorant. We can't have you musty out here, especially if you're picking people up in Uber. You just want the book and the Blu-ray. All right. Well, listen. So how many of you guys have seen the movie Leave the World Behind? We got to break this movie down. Yeah? Right. You tried a lot of natural deodorants. That's the only one that doesn't leave a unique smell after a week. Yes. This is very good. A very good natural deodorant, man. People really love it. But let's talk about this movie. Let's talk about the movie Leave the World Behind. There's a movie on Netflix called Leave the World Behind. They said it's executive produced by Michelle and Barack Obama. That don't mean nothing. I don't know. It's the same when they say, well, Tyler Perry and Oprah produced Precious. You know, they'll put black people as the face of it or whatever. And remember, when Precious started winning all of those damn awards, boy, the white people started coming out the woodworks. Well, the white people were jumping on stage, knocking niggas out the way. Back up. Give me that trophy. They tried to pawn Precious off on black folks, but when it started winning awards, boy, they went up there. The real white people who were behind it, they made sure to get their accolades. You understand? But this movie is interesting. Yeah, that's the thing. It's an interesting movie. I'll say that. It's an interesting movie. A lot of people don't like the ending. It's interesting. I will say that. It's an interesting, deep movie. And I'm going to give a few spoilers away. I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but I'll give a few. The movie basically, and they left a lot of things up open to interpretation, but there were a lot of deep messages in there. The movie didn't actually show you who the antagonist was. It never actually showed who. So a lot of people kind of felt like, damn, there was no payoff. You waited 2 hours and there's this threat happening to the United States and nobody ever specified what it was. All right? Nobody specified what it was. And I think that played into the scariness of it. I think that makes it more scary because it was never explained. We were getting attacked. The movie is about, it's kind of an apocalyptic type of thing where there is an attack and an invasion on the United States. But they never specify exactly who's doing it. All right? Which was good for the anticipation thing, the paranoia thing. You know, there's an enemy out there, but you don't know who the enemy is. And I think that played into the psychological aspect of the film, because when you're attacked by an enemy, you want a clearly defined enemy. The movie never told you definitively who was behind these attacks. There was a lot of strange stuff in there. Like, basically, the movie showed different stages of an attack and an invasion. The first attack was the breakdown of communication, destroying the internet infrastructure, hacking the internet. Once the internet broke down, then there was confusion. Then they let confusion arise, and then they started making all-out attacks. Then they would use sound waves and radiation to attack people. And these sound waves and the radiation, from what I understand and from what I gather in the movie, it kind of affected the way animals reacted. The animals were low-key about to turn on the humans. But there was a lot of deep stuff in there. So the movie, and this is my interpretation of it, the movie had a lot of racial eggs in it. For my interpretation, the movie was a warning to white society on the real threat if there is a societal breakdown. All right? Right, somebody hit it right on the money. The black daughter. So let me tell you who the characters were. It was Julia Roberts and her family, her white family. She had a husband, a teen son, and the daughter was she a teen? She was like a little girl. Then there was a black man. Okay. I'm trying not to give too many spoilers, but I'm gonna give some spoilers. So Julia Roberts and her family, they went on a trip, on a little vacation to get away from the city. Julia Roberts was like, oh, I don't like people. So they took a trip. They got an Airbnb in something looking like Long Island somewhere, off in the suburbs, off in the cut. They got an Airbnb. Then a black man and his daughter shows up, and they actually own the house of the Airbnb. And Julia Roberts was kind of like, you know, wait, you own this house? So there was like some racial tension there. All right? I'm going to give some spoilers. I'm going to give a few. I'm trying not, because I want y'all to see it. So there were some racial tensions there. All right? So the dad was like, hey, you know, this is our house. We own the house, but there's the internet is breaking down. There's some kind of thing going on with society. There's some kind of emergency. So we kind of need to get back in our house. We'll stay in the basement because you guys paid for the weekend, but, you know, we got to get back here to our house. So now there's this little tension there. Now these black people have to live in their own house with these white people. So now there's that little racial tension there, okay? I want y'all to understand, this was a codified thing for white people to understand how to operate and what to beware of if there is a societal breakdown. Okay, I want y'all to feel me on this. The black man and his black daughter, was the daughter like a teenager? She looked a little older. She either late teens or early 20s. The daughter was very codified and she was very woke in the movie. All right? The daughter was very woke in the movie. She was the most woke in the movie. And that was something they were warning them about. They were warning the audience. If there's a societal breakdown, it ain't the dusty niggas and hood rats you gotta really be concerned about. It's really the well-to-do black people, the smart black people, and the woke black people. Those are the black people you need to be worried about. So she was college age. Okay, got it. She looked very young, but she was college age. Got it. I'm talking about the black daughter. So the black daughter, she was very weary of people, especially the white people. She was very weary of them. Also, yes, there is a Civil War movie coming out this spring. So they're sending these messages on what to look out for. Also, in real life, there have been threats of some Asian countries possibly doing some cyber attacks on the United States. So psychologically, they're kind of getting us prepared for something. All right? Psychologically, they're trying to get us prepared for something. Yeah? But listen, boy, there's a lot of coded messages in there, because I want y'all to understand something. If there is a breakdown of society, the white supremacists, the first thing they're going to do, they're going to get the dusty niggas and the hood rats up out of here first. They're going to go first because they're easy pickings. They're easy pickings. They're going to get them first. The problem they're going to have with the woke black folks, the militia-trained black people, the intelligent black folks, you guys are going to be the big threat. So they're teaching the white audience on how to deal with you. Okay? Listen, if an apocalyptic thing happened, they try to make it seem like the big threat is going to be the Negroes running around here stealing TVs. No, that's not the threat at all. Because if there's an apocalyptic breakdown, the dusty Negroes and the hood rats, and when I say dusty, I mean dusty as in the syrup drinking, drug using, not dealing, but drug using niggas and the twerking hood rats, they're going to eat themselves alive. They're going to die off on their own because they don't have any practical survival skills anyway. They don't have survival skills. The sexy reds and the twerkers and the let your coochie breathe, that's in a societal breakdown that has zero bearing on survival. So automatically they're going to fall off, which is good because they're going to stand. That's going to get out of our way. That will get out of the way of constructive black people who are builders. All right? So all the black folks who are codified, it's going to be immediately survival of the fittest. Okay? I just want y'all to understand that. Now, in the movie, they're sending so many messages, but now let's look at some of the messages that were sent in this movie. All right? Let me get to some of the pictures here. Who's calling me? Okay. Bear with me for 1 second. Where am I, man? Okay. Where the hell am I? I'm looking for my thread I had here. Hold on, I got a thread here. All right. So early in the movie, I want y'all to peep some of the stuff out, some of the Easter eggs in here that a lot of folks didn't catch. Now, when they were driving to Long Island or wherever the family was driving, this exit, they got off here. They got off on Point Comfort. Now, why is that? That's very significant. Now, in real life, there is no Point Comfort in Long Island, New York. New York doesn't have a Point Comfort. That's a fictional area. The area they were in the movie was called Point Comfort. Okay? You want to know why that's significant? Point Comfort it was a place in Virginia. Point Comfort was the place in Virginia where the first slave ship from Africa landed in 1619. Okay? Point Comfort was where the ship carrying the 20-so-odd Negroes from Africa landed in 1619. All right? A lot of folks don't catch that. And that ship that landed in 1619, what was the name of that ship? The name of the ship was White Lion. Later on in this movie, when they were on the beach, a giant ship came ashore because the computer and the internet broke down and the ship went rogue and the ship ran ashore, almost running over the people. The name of the ship, White Lion. Okay? That's very significant. They're not putting that stuff in these movies for no reason. All right? So that's a slave ship reference. That is a slave ship reference. So they're putting some Easter eggs out there so that people can get it. All right, let me show y'all some receipts on Point Comfort. All right, let's talk about Virginia's first Africans. And they're very specific about saying Africans because Virginia's first Africans arrived at Point Comfort on the southern tip of the Virginia Peninsula, 1619, on the English ship White Lion. Okay, now there were, as we know, it's been documented proof that there were already black people here in North America. And some black people brought over to on a pirate ship in the late 1500s to the North Carolina area. There were some black people who were brought in from Spain who were Moors, who were brought in 1626, and they had a rebellion, and then they amalgamated in with the Native American tribes there and blended in with them. And as we know, there were other black people who were already indigenous to the land here. All right? So now, this place is happening, this stuff is happening in Point Comfort in a slave port, okay? This is happening where slavery in modern America got started, all right? Let that sink in. Now, they're letting you know what the threat is. They're sending these subliminal messages. This is what the threat is. Now, look, let's go back, because this gets even deeper. Let's go back to this image here. Let's go back to this image here of that freeway exit. The other sign right here says Fort Mose Road. Okay, now Fort Mose is not in Long Island, New York. Why did they choose these names? Neither one of these places are in New York. What was Fort Mose? What was Fort Mose? Fort Mose was a maroon colony in Florida. They named this thing Fort Mose for a reason. That's right up the road from the slave area, from Point Comfort. All right? Fort Mose, that was a place in Florida, the first legally sanctioned, and I say that, it's deep, ain't it? That's the first legally sanctioned black community in North America. And I say legally sanctioned, meaning that a European nation recognized its sovereignty. All right? Here's some receipts on Fort Mose. Oh, these people are telling you something. All right, Fort Mose timeline. Fort Mose became a sanctuary city for Africans, well, black people, seeking liberation from the tyranny of English slavery. Fort Mose has been recognized for its national significance in history. So Fort Mose was, okay, right here, is the site of the first legally sanctioned free African settlement, or black settlement. I like to say black. They like to throw that African thing in there. All right. Now look. Now they put that in there for a reason. They put that in there for a reason. So they're letting the white people know this. You might have some slaves over here, but watch out for the free black people, because now there's an apocalypse. Society has to rebuild. Man, hold on. Somebody said it ain't that deep. Nigga, please. Wait, hold on. This dude, Donald Simmons, it ain't that deep. Nigga, please. Oh, it is that deep. That's where niggas be slipping, right there. That's where y'all be slipping. These folks send these messages to each other with all types of codes in them. It is that deep. That's why we be sleep all the time and not getting it. You better start getting real. These people don't put nothing on these movies without really researching it. Dude, I work in Hollywood. Dude, these people are meticulous about what they put in these movies, man. Y'all don't understand how meticulous they are about what's in these movies. I'm talking about every little detail. Boy, you think they don't put subliminals in these movies? That goofy shit has to go. It is that deep. That's why we always end up last, because we got niggas who always trying to downplay what these folks are meticulous about what they do. It is that deep. It is very deep, dude. We try to sit up here and act like they slacking niggas be. No, they ain't like you. Because it's not that deep with you. You don't look at things that deep. Everything is leisurely. Sitting around, sipping syrup and getting high. It ain't that deep with you. They don't think like you. These people send these messages out here, and they're very meticulous about these damn messages. You better peep what these people are saying in these damn movies. It ain't even subliminal no more. Man, the fact that they named those places that, these folks know exactly what they were doing. Hell, we can even go deeper. This ain't no game these people play. Later on in the movie, to show you just how deep it is. Hell, they just stopped throwing subliminals. Look, check this out. Later on in the movie, they were trying to get to a radio station, because the radio station, there was, the satellites and all that stuff was breaking down. So they went to a radio dial, and that shit was 1619. They're telling you what's going on here. They're letting you know what the threat is. They're making all these slave references on the subliminal tip. This ain't a coincidence, man. Dude, they threw all types of little subliminal Easter eggs in this movie. None of that is a coincidence, dude. If you think that's a coincidence, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. They're sending little messages with this thing. And so in the movie, the white son, Julia Roberts' white son, he's looking at the black daughter, the black man's daughter. The white boy's looking at her kind of with Google eyes, low key, because the white boy, he's a teen or whatever. I don't know how old he is, but he doesn't have access to the internet, and he can't get online and check out girls. So what he does, and I wonder if y'all caught this, the white boy was sneaking pictures of the black girl. They were swimming, and she came out in her bathing suit, and the white boy was sneaking pictures of her. Then later on, he's in bed looking at pictures of the black girl, pleasuring himself. Y'all catch that? Because he ain't got access to the internet. So look at these messages here. See, the messages is that, okay, look, if society breaks down, we got to really watch what the blacks are doing and watch who you interact with. Yeah, he's taking pictures of her and pleasuring himself to her. So they're letting them know, they're letting the white community know, if society breaks down, just the presence of these black people, that's a threat. Just their presence is a threat, because now you're going to have to settle. If you don't have any access to white women, you'll have to settle for sexual access to them. And then if you have offspring, the offspring is going to be black. So that's a threat to white genetic survival. A lot of this had those Dr. Francis Cress Welsing Easter egg nuggets of that white genetic survival. You understand? Yeah, the black daughter and the white dad was getting high. Yeah. A lot of real weird stuff in it like that. But they're letting you know what the threat is. And also, the black man who owned the house, he was a well-to-do brother. And at first, Julia Roberts didn't really like him because she don't like people. She kind of had some kind of low-key racial animosity to a certain degree, some racial trepidations about the guy. Later on in the movie, they started kind of warming up to each other. She was like, yeah, I'm starting to like you. You dig? So they're in the house and they go in one of the rooms and they're vinyl records because, you know, you don't have access to the internet no more. They put on some vinyl records and Julia Roberts is dancing and the black man is dancing and they're dancing with each other. And it low-key got kind of romantic. Then they kind of backed off a little bit. Again, they're throwing these messages to white society. Watch out for the well-to-do black people in an apocalypse. Watch out for the well-to-do black people in an apocalyptic situation because the white women will start going to them for comfort and safety. Y'all better follow these messages here. Y'all better follow these messages, just like with the Moors, man. Let's go back to Spain, the 8th century. When Spain and Europe, they were coming out of a plague where their society had broken down to a certain degree. Their society had become weak. When the black Moors came in, they came in on those beautiful horses, those jet black skin Moors with all of that silk and gold. Dr. John Henry Clark said, boy, them white women were throwing their garments at the Moors. When them black men showed up in Europe with the wealth that they had, and the white women sat up here broke and starving and can barely eat, they saw them black men balling out. The white women was taking their clothes off, throwing it at them brothers. So they're sending that message. Watch out for the well-to-do black people in an apocalyptic situation because they're going to be a threat. Your women are going to be choosing them. You dig? Watch out for them. But the messages, man, are very deep. Understand this. It's letting you know that we got to get tangible things. Don't be so dependent upon the internet. Get your tangible things. Know how to go out here and get it. It's sending messages to the white people. They had one white man in the movie. He was one of these survivalist guys, and the black man was his friend, but he was ready to turn on the black man like, hey, friends or not, I'll shoot your ass. So it's letting them know. It's sending them messages here. Understand this, fam. We got a lot of people in the room. Shout out to everybody in the room. Now let's look at what happened in real life. Understand, this movie is telling you if the internet breaks down, you know, that's the first step to an all-out uprising and apocalypse in this country. If there is a real cyber attack, things can go all the way left. In the movie, they had a bunch of Tesla cars, those automatic cars, crashing into each other. Because, you know, those cars are run by satellites. And that was a low-key dig against Elon Musk. Because this movie had a lot of left-wing vibes to it. All right? And a lot of those movies on Netflix, they're very left-leaning. You know, it's a lot of Democratic shield stuff going on. There's another movie, a documentary on Netflix now called Stained from Birth or something like that. Am I correct with the name of that documentary? Stained at Birth or something like that. It's basically a knockoff Hidden Colors. And have y'all noticed that? Have y'all noticed there are a lot of these bootleg Hidden Color style films now? A lot of them, and Netflix has a whole bunch of them. They do a bunch of films that's done in the pattern of Hidden Colors. Have y'all noticed that? In fact, they get a lot of the people who are actually in Hidden Colors for these movies. They had my sister Carol Anderson, who's brilliant, and we introduced her in the Hidden Colors movies. Who's brilliant, I love her. They had her in that. But I think the name was Stained at Birth. Oh man, this is like Hidden Colors 7, basically. It's Hidden Colors 7. So in this movie, they're talking about slavery and all this stuff, and then they kept trying to throw Trump under the bus in this movie. In that Stained from Birth stuff, they kept tying in Trump somehow. They kept trying to throw Trump. It was Democratic shillery. But yeah, notice that. There's a bunch of these knockoff Hidden Color movies now. You dig? But yeah, they threw, but going back to the Leave the World Behind movie. They threw some salt at Elon Musk because they're showing that those cars can be weaponized in a cyber attack, which is actually true, which is true. It can be. You know, those cars can be weaponized. And in the movie, the cars were basically just, you know, Julia Roberts was ducking and dodging, Stamped at Birth. Okay, that's the movie, Stamped at Birth. In the movie, Leave the World Behind, Julia Roberts was trying to duck and dodge to get out of the way of those damn Teslas that were crashing all over the place. Yeah? But I want y'all to understand something. They're sending messages about how important it is to not completely rely on the internet. Because if that internet breaks down, all hell will break loose. Because we become so dependent on the internet. And this is why I always tell people, man, look, we got to get off that internet, man. We got to start having tangible media. That's why I always tell people, man, we got books, get our books. Get the DVDs. Even though I'll have a movie streaming, I tell people, get the DVD too. Get the Blu-ray. Have that media in your physical hand. That's very important. Because when society breaks down, or if there's a pandemic or anything like that, and the internet and stuff breaks down, all hell will go loose. Listen. During COVID, when our movement as a society was limited and we were forced to stay in the house, the only thing that didn't cause a complete breakdown and chaos scenario of society was us being on the internet, us having access to the internet. We were able to do a lot of stuff online still. That kept us at bay to a certain degree. Remember, a lot of stuff was born out of the pandemic. Things like Versus. You know, we were entertained by Versus, where they would have these music contests online. But even though we had access to the internet, remember, during COVID, what happened during COVID? Because people were frustrated being stuck in the house and being regulated as far as their movement. Remember, we're being told we can't do certain things. So now there's a frustration there. And what happened during the pandemic? Remember, the George Floyd riots happened during the pandemic. There were nationwide riots all over this country. With the internet, people still got frustrated and start taking to the streets. You know, the George Floyd situation, we saw that and we said, oh, I'm already frustrated. Let's go ahead and turn this thing all the way up. Let's turn this all the way up. Just imagine if we had the pandemic and the internet broke down. Just imagine a pandemic and a breakdown of the internet. It would have been all hell. For real, for real. You dig? So this movie is letting us know the potential of what might go down. And I want y'all to understand something else too. Again, that message that if a society breaks down, don't worry about the dusty Negroes and the hood rats. Because they always make it seem like they're the threat. No. Those Negroes are going to be running out here trying to buy flat screen TV, or trying to take flat screen TVs and all that stuff. So that's not going to even be practical. Now, there was another scene in that movie of the daughter. Now, this was deep. And a lot of the white supremacists actually got upset with this. Because she said something, and the black daughter was pretty smart. And she said something very real. Let me play this clip. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Listen to this.
I'm asking for you to remember that if the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily to anyone, especially white people. Even Mom would agree with me on that. I'm asking for you to remember that
all right.
If the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily to anyone, especially white people.
And boy, that part right there, oh, they didn't like that. They didn't like that part right there. They did not like that. But here's the thing. In the movie, later on in the movie, see, this girl was woke. This was, she said something that was very real. She understood how white supremacy works. And the message was, watch out for them woke Negroes. Because whenever society breaks down or if there's some kind of natural disaster, what happens? The white supremacists start getting guns and start targeting black people. Look at Hurricane Katrina. What the girl said in the movie was facts, to be honest. Listen, in Hurricane Katrina down there in Louisiana, you had white people picking black folks off left and right down there, man. That's never really talked about. The white supremacists down in Louisiana during Katrina, they were picking black folks off. They were hunting black people, dude. Thousands of black people were killed. That's why they're not accounted for. They didn't just wash off somewhere. You had white people down there hunting black folks. The minute there's a societal breakdown, the white supremacists get guns and start going after black folks. All right? So yeah, she said the quiet part out loud. Oh, they were sniping black folks. You understand? Now, later on in the movie, because the black girl, her and Julia Roberts kind of had a thing, because she felt Julia Roberts, she kind of felt she had some little white supremacist energy, so the black girl didn't trust them like that. So later on in the movie, Julia Roberts was able to gain the black girl's trust. I think Julia Roberts saved her from a deer attack or something like that. And by the end of the movie, Julia Roberts and the black girl were holding hands like Julia Roberts is her mama now. Julia Roberts almost became a surrogate mother to the black girl. So that message was, hey, get them woke Negroes, win them over. If a Negro is woke, gain their trust. You got to gain those Negroes' trust, especially the woke ones, because the woke ones are going to be a threat. You understand? So yeah, at the end of the movie, Julia Roberts is holding the black girl's hand like her little Negro daughter. Oh, there's some heavy messages in this thing. But boy, these white supremacists, when you say the quiet part out loud, they're, hey, hold on now. Hey, wait a minute. You ain't got to say all that, buddy. Oh, you ain't got to say all that. Hold on. Look, you had Steve Bannon and one of these suspected white supremacist women on one of these shows talking about it. Fair use. Listen to them.
Because I think there's a lot of folks up there that believe that this is all part of the program. Let me play, Eva, while I got you, I want to play one more clip. This is very disturbing that the Obamas are the producers of this, and I think this is their first film. Even more disturbing is part of this. Can you play the clip? And I want to get Eva's feedback on it.
I'm asking for you to remember that if the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily to anyone, especially white people. Even Mom would agree with me on that.
Trust should not be doled out, especially white people. Given the innate racism of Obama and his wife, this is pretty in your face and shocking and quite frankly unacceptable, given they've lived off the dole for so long. Your thoughts, ma'am?
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, obviously. It is disgraceful, as you say. I mean, it is, again, this movie is full of Easter eggs, right? It is.
And by the way, these right-wing channels, they love getting these Northern European white women, these Norwegian type of white women with blonde hair, blue eyes. They love having them on these right-wing propaganda mill shows. They love that.
Straight out of the globalist playbook. It is create division, in this case, a nice little bit of anti-white sentiment just thrown in there. If the world falls apart, don't trust white people. It is a disgrace that the former president of the United States would push a narrative like that. And because the Obamas were the producers on this film, but they've also been very much involved in the script writing. So, it's safe to say that.
Okay, so that's them babbling. That's them babbling their BS. Yeah, that's them babbling their BS. So It's a very interesting dynamic. And here's the thing, man. If there's a societal breakdown, you better be weary of white supremacists. That's the first thing you better be, because they're going to be targeting black folks first. And in this movie, see, there was no defined. This movie, they were hinting that it was coming from the Russians, and then there was some propaganda flyers saying that it was coming from some Muslims, death to America. So this movie never defined who the actual enemy was. But they broke down the internet, they caused confusion, they started using radiation and sound weapons, and then they started bombing the major cities. And they never explained exactly who was doing this stuff. All right? And understand, when they got black people here and they're using all of these little black references, letting you know, hey, watch out for a black uprising. That's why they got Fort Mose in here. Watch out for this well-to-do black person, because these black people, they have the skills and the wherewithal to rebuild this thing and take us over. So we gotta keep our eye on all of the black folks. We got to keep our eye on them, especially the well-to-do ones. The dusty Negroes, they're easy pickings. Let me tell you something. There's a book, and I used to talk about this manual before. There's an actual manual that was put out by some white supremacists who were in the military. This came out in 2003, and I've talked about this several times. There's a manual called FM6 2003, and you guys dig around online, you can find this. This is a manual. You can find it online. Ethnic cleansing operations. And this thing talks about targeting black people if there's some kind of societal breakdown. How to get black people out of these cities. How to create a race war. And they're specifically talking about targeting black people. And in this book, in this manual, it's about 160 pages. Around page 64, they talk about the specific blacks you got to look out for. They were talking about the street punks and all of that. They were like, yeah, you could, yeah, they'll have guns, but they don't know how to really aim that good. You ain't got to worry about them. The real threat you got to worry about are the black people in militia groups, black people who are former military, the Nation of Islam. They talked about that. They talked about, you got to watch out for black people who are kind of organized. Go read this manual. It's heavy. See, these white people, the white supremacists, they get to telling the truth on the low. That's a deep manual. Look at page 64. Also, you got, y'all need to read this. This is heavy. I mean, these people go into detail about how to get weapons from the National Guard armories and how to go into police lockups and get a whole cache of weapons. They made a reference to Harriet Tubman. They said something very interesting in this book. In this book, they said, you can't underestimate black folks, because when Harriet Tubman was freeing all of these black people, she would dress up and act like an ignorant Negro. And a lot of the Confederates underestimated her. So they were like, hey, Harriet Tubman was playing on white people. She was playing on them. So don't underestimate these niggas. She was playing ignorant. They mentioned that in that book. So yeah, a lot of the white Confederates underestimated her because she was acting like she was ignorant, but she was very smart and very meticulous, and she freed hundreds of black people. So we can never underestimate these Negroes. So yes, get this book. They study us. This is why I put out movies like American Maroon. If you know American Maroon, we talk about Fort Mose. I'm telling you, listen, they know our history more than you. These people know our history, and they know what we're capable of. There's a reason why they named Fort Mose in that movie, because the black people in Fort Mose was whooping ass. These black people down there in Florida, they were tearing these white supremacist asses up. And the Maroons in Florida was putting in some damn work. I keep telling you, the Maroons in Florida, man, they were so underestimated. They study them. The Maroons in Florida was bringing that heat to these white supremacists, man. And they don't ever forget. So they start sending little code messages to each other without saying exactly what went down and what their fear was. And I keep telling you, down in Florida in particular, them black Seminoles, them black Maroons down there, and it was some of the black Seminoles who were occupying Fort Mose and also Fort Negro down there. They were giving them white supremacists the business. And when the forts were being attacked, they learned how to blend in into the swamp areas and engage in guerrilla warfare. The people like John Horst and folks like that. This is why, family, y'all need to get the package here. Hold on, let me show y'all some stuff here. This is why, where we at? This is why y'all need to get stuff like this. John Horst, we talk about that. This is why your kids need to know this. We talk about John Horst, born 1812, was an extraordinary black Seminole leader who played a pivotal role in the fight against slavery in Florida and the defense of his people's freedom. John Horst took a bold stance against slavery, leading daring raids on plantations in Florida, liberating his people. Teach your babies about this, family, because they're teaching their people about it. They're teaching their kids, watch out for Negroes like these. You understand? Watch out for these Negroes. They're teaching these historic figures too, and they're telling them to watch out for them. Yeah? Man. So Tesla announced car issues after that movie came out. That's interesting. That's very interesting. But we got to watch out, man. And also, what's interesting in the movie, again, later on in the movie, towards the end, the white girl, she liked a lot of those 90s shows. She liked the show Friends. So she broke into somebody's house, and they had a little underground bunker. And the internet and all that shit was all taken off the grid. And these people's bunker in their house, they had like a generator. So she turned the generator on, and she found out they had a whole bunch of DVDs and VCRs. So the movie ended with her putting in a DVD of the movie, of the TV show Friends. So she was like, oh, I'm good to go. And that's how the movie ended. And a lot of people are like, hey, that's not a real good payoff. But again, it's sending a message. The message is, it's important to have tangible physical media. That's the message. It's important to have tangible physical records. And I keep telling you guys that. Whenever I put out movies, I tell people, get the hard copy of it. You dig? I keep telling people, get the hard copy of my DVDs, my Blu-rays, the books, have hard copies of them. Just in case a light goes off somewhere, or just in case the internet goes off, whatever. Having a physical copy of something means a lot. And you can still distribute information places. You understand? So this movie is a very good learning lesson. It's a very deep movie. We got to learn how to, again, in order to build a society, in order to maintain a society. And again, that field manual about ethnic cleansing, there's a reason why they named the Nation of Islam in that book. The people that white people got to watch out for. Watch out for the Nation of Islam and watch out for you know what? Because see, if there's a societal breakdown, what black people are going to be prepared? And I always talk about being prepared for certain things. When there's a societal breakdown, or if there's a societal breakdown, what black people are going to be prepared? The black people who know how to grow their own food, black people who got their own weapons stockpiled, black people who got reserve food and water stockpiled. You understand? Prince always said, keep that hard copy. Real talk, that's important. Hard assets. You understand? Solar panel systems, gas, gasoline, propane. Now let's look. If there's a societal breakdown, the first group of black people that's going to survive the most would be the Nation of Islam. Look at the model of the Nation of Islam created by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Nation of Islam, and you study their template. You better study their template. The Nation of Islam, they know how to grow their own food. They have their own infrastructure where they do trade and business among each other. They have their own religious settings. They have their own research and education teams so the children can be taught. You understand? They have their own defense system, the Fruit of Islam. And let me tell y'all something. Don't think them suits are anything to play with. For some reason, I think people think because the Nation of Islam, those brothers wear suits, that you won't get your ass whooped in one of them three-piece suits. Bruh, them Fruit of Islam cats got all types of hands that y'all are not familiar with. You don't want to try it. You understand? You don't want to even think about trying it. But they have an infrastructure there. You understand? And that's a great template to look at. Yes, they got the military training and the discipline. That's why it's called the Nation of Islam. Elijah Muhammad knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. You see? So we got to understand and take messages from these movies too. We need to get some messages from these movies too. We need to get messages from these movies on how to maintain a society if something breaks down. If the satellites break down and the internet break down, we have to know how to communicate with each other. You got to have little two-way radios and all of that stuff. Do you have your two-way radio? That's not dependent upon the satellite. Where I keep telling y'all about these dried food companies where you can get 30-day and 60-day supplies of dried food and you can keep it stored for like 20, 30 years. Y'all need to have that. You need to have your water thing stocked up on. You got to have your seeds. You need to have dried seeds stored where if you go somewhere, you can start planting some stuff. Yeah? We got to know how to communicate with each other offline. See, that's why I love having generators. That's important. You got to know how to network with people off the internet. That's very important. That's why I always have events where people can come down in person. Let's get together and network with each other. We're having an event this weekend, this Saturday at the Hidden History Museum. Let's get together. Let's network with each other so that we can vibe and talk and know who's who and exchange numbers. And that's what these things are for. These are mixers. These are networking events where we get to know who's in the community. So if we need each other, we know who to call. You there? Tut language. Learn how to speak and write in Tut language. That's very important so we can communicate with each other without people being in our business. Right. Learn how to use a map. Do y'all know how to use a map, a physical map? How many of y'all remember the Thomas guides? Y'all need a Thomas guide. See, back in the day, we didn't have GPS and all of that. We had to understand north, south, east, and west. We had to have Thomas guides. You understand? Go to Black Star Survival, these companies that I promote. Go to Redstone Firearms. Go to these companies. I promote these black-owned companies where you can get your weapons and your survival kits, all of that stuff. I keep drilling this stuff in people's heads. That's important for us to get out here and network with each other, network with the survivalists, network with the business people. When we were in Dallas, that was a business expo. I wanted people to see all the business people. Who's doing business? Get out here with black folks who are doing business. All the twerking and all of that stuff, no. See? Twerking, you go for the twerking every blue moon. You ain't supposed to be at the twerking event every damn week. See, when shit go down, the twerking crowd, they're going to be impractical. The twerking crowd is going to hold you down. They're going to hold you back. You see? Get your gas mask, real talk. It's very important. Know how to hunt, fish, grow food. Black Star Survival, yes indeed. Because look, let's be real. There's a lot of folks out here, black folks, who are low-key. Let's be real. There's a lot of us who try to get into this whole plantation thing where we want to buck dance and all of this stuff all the time because we get scared of power. There are a lot of black people who are actually afraid of power. And when we exert power over certain people who harm us and we're successful at it, sometimes black people get nervous. We got a lot of black people who get a little nervous about it. For example, this white supremacist suspect woman, what's that woman, Nikki, what's that woman's name, who murdered this brother down in Georgia, brother named Kenneth Herring. What's that woman's name? What's the woman's name who killed that brother? And they sentenced her ass. She was, well, not sentenced, she just got found guilty on all charges. What's that white woman's name? What's that white woman's name who killed our brother? This brother was in a fender bender, and he started having a diabetic episode, so he was trying to get to the hospital to save his life. This white, Hannah Payne, that's her name, Hannah Payne. Thank you, family. So Hannah Payne got in her car trying to get her Zimmerman on, chased the brother down, got out of her car, ran up and shot this brother and killed him. Trying to be a damn vigilante because she saw so many of her white supremacist brethren get away with it. So she allegedly thought she could get away with it. And the people of Georgia said no. So she was found guilty on all charges because the streets were saying, no, we need charges on that woman. We were talking about that case for years and how that woman needed charges. And we cannot stand for something like this, a blatant murder like this. Now, you had some of the, this woman here, I don't know if she was part of the prosecution. I don't know who this woman was. But she's standing there with the family, the woman in the glasses. I don't know if she was on the prosecuting team. I don't know, but they said something I just didn't like, talking about she didn't think it was race related. Hold on. Wait.
We look at the facts, and we go with what the facts, the evidence led us. It was hard to, it's easy to say race, you know, it's real easy because you have a black victim and a white perpetrator, but that's too easy. We had to go down into the depth of the evidence and really dig it out, and it didn't seem like race played a part in it, and we didn't want to trivialize.
Okay, they ain't gotta say all that.
Mr. Herring's death, you know, this was just somebody that...
Yeah, race did have something to do with it.
Was...
Now, is she the prosecutor? Who is she? Is she the prosecutor? Who is she? I don't think she's a family member, but who is she exactly? Well, they all sitting here with the Bunny Ruckers look.
Out of control, that had the audacity to think that she could make someone do something that wasn't within her power.
It's been long and arduous. It was hard on my family. It's been almost 5 years. I had to come for every court appearance. I was here to hear her incessant wailing as if she had been shot. And after 5 years, I believe the case was presented as it happened. The state did its job, and the jurors did their job.
What does it say that they came back so quickly, just over 2 hours?
To me, that said that the state did its job, and evidence was there.
But it also says something about the jury, that they did not buy her claims of self-defense and that he attacked and shot himself.
Exactly.
How is that, I mean, for them to bring forth that?
Okay, so they got the Bunny Ruckus blonde hair going on. And God bless them. They had a traumatic loss, but there's no need to hop up here talking about it wasn't no damn, it wasn't about no race now. There's no need for that. We start apologizing. When we bring it to these white supremacists, there's always this desire for black folks to kind of reel it back in. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I don't know. We gotta convict it now. Let's not go crazy. I still love white people. Now, that don't take away my love for white people now. Everything ain't about race now. See, that's scared of power. Let's stop being afraid of damn power. If a white supremacist suspect harms you, bring it to that ass in the court. Exert your judicial power and bring it to him, and don't be apologetic about it. That's like a form of apologizing. Yeah, well, she did. She killed our peoples, but it ain't about no race now. I love me some white people. I love some white people. I still love white people. Can I just get a hug? Stop being afraid of power, black folks. That's low-key apologizing. That's your low-key way to apologize to other white people. Please don't be mad at me now just because we punished a white woman. Now don't be mad at me now. Ooh, I'm sorry I had to punish that white woman, but that was my uncle now. I'm sorry I had to punish her. Y'all still love me? Damn, man. Stop being afraid of power. Damn, stop being afraid of power, man. There was another case, man. Speaking of scared of power. Now, this is incredible. Now, look, and shout out to Nikki the God for posting up some of this stuff. Shout out to our sister, Nikki the God in the room. Shout out to Nikki the God. There's a case where in Mississippi, a little black boy, 10 years old, got arrested and charged, and now they put him on probation because his mama was in a lawyer's office. The lawyer's office didn't have a public restroom, so he did what all little kids do. He got out the car, kind of opened the door, peed behind the door, didn't expose himself, and the police arrested and charged this kid. You know? And then they got the kid gave him let me show you. This is ridiculous. The 10-year-old boy. Now the lawyer said, hey man, this is about race. Race played a role in the sentencing. The lawyer's saying this. He's baffled that the prosecutor would even pursue the case. All right, this is the lawyer saying this. All right. 10-year-old black child in Mississippi was sentenced Tuesday in youth court to 3 months probation. The attorney said it was influenced by race. Right. Shout out to the attorney. So the boy just peed. He just peed outside because there was no public restroom available. Yeah? And this kid is required to check in with a probation officer once a month for 3 months. This is a damn 10-year-old. This is insane. Now the mammy, LaTanya Easton said Wednesday she's not sure if her son's skin color influenced his arrest and the decisions made by prosecutors and a judge. However, she said her son has been mistreated all the way. So the lawyer's trying to say, hey man, this is race. The big mammy up here, this mammy is up here. Now, I don't know now. I don't know if it's race now. I don't know. You idiot. You're mammying it up already. These folks got your son 10 years old on probation, and you up here talking about, well, I just don't know now. I don't want the white people mad at me. Well, hold on now. See, this is why, man, it's hard for us to get behind a lot of this stuff, man. See, we get out here and we do the dirty work. We stomp. We get out here stomping for these folks. And then the mammies and bed bucks and the family out here copping pleas, man. stop being scared of power. Damn, man. Yeah, she wants a check somewhere. That's the thing. I don't want to mess up the little piece of money I might get now because Ben Crump did call me now. Lord. They think there's a check somewhere, so they don't want to mess the check up. So let me not say, well, I don't know. Race ain't got everything to do with nothing. I don't think race had nothing to do. Yeah, where's his dad? They know how to get a mammy mentality out of these folks. Where's that boy's dad? Yeah. So yeah, that whole scared of power thing is very real. So this is why, man, we got to understand, if there's a societal breakdown, these bunny ruckuses, the hood rats, scissor sipping niggas, we got to look and see who's going to be a hindrance. These bunny ruckuses are going to be a hindrance if we try to rebuild something. These big, jolly, big back bunny ruckuses, they're not going to help us build nothing. They're going to be a problem if something happens. We need to know how to identify the riders and the people who's going to be anchors to us. So we got to understand. You dig? Man, they're very dangerous. I'm telling you, they're dangerous. They're extremely dangerous because when they get the twerkers and the coochie hole brown and all of that, those are going to be hindrances to us. So it's very important for us to get around like-minded people who's on the same page of black empowerment, who's not afraid of power. Stop being afraid of power. And that's why anytime we start building something, you got a bunch of these low-level dirtbag Negroes trying to tear it down, trying to attack it, trying to sabotage it, because these low-level Negroes are afraid of power themselves. And when we exert power, they know they're going to be left behind. So they want to drag us down in the gutter with them so we can all perish. No. We got to be around empowering people who are on the same page of empowerment. That's why you guys need to get your tickets to join me this Saturday. Join me and other empowering black people this Saturday at the Hidden History Museum. Go to hiddenhistorymuseum.com. We got a great event happening this Saturday. Don't meet me there, beat me there, ladies and gentlemen. We want to see you in the building. We're going to have a great time networking with each other, everybody. You dig? Also, go to hiddenhistorymuseum.com to get the Aratasase bundle package. The sale ends tomorrow, so you got one day in order to get the package. You can go to rootworkstyle.com. We got so many different beautiful Rootwork scents, deodorants. But again, go to hiddenhistorymuseum.com. The link is below, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I'm up out of here. I'm going to see you guys in person Saturday at the Hidden History Museum. Papi Akute and Lala Vuve to the family. hiddenhistorymuseum.com, ladies and gentlemen. Hidden History Museum.